March 9, 2025. My husband and I have been married for almost 2 years, and our son is 10 months old. We live in Canada. I grew up here while my husband immigrated when he was a student. My parents live nearby, which has been invaluable during my pregnancy and since. My mom comes over regularly to help us out. My husband and her are on good terms too, so it's been going well. His parents live in another country. We have visited them once since we got married. That was 7 months ago. The time prior to that was our wedding itself, which took place there. My husband had been talking about my ML visiting soon for a long visit, which I was happy with. We recently moved into our new house. I've done a good job decorating it. We have a large guest room, and I was looking forward to hosting her, especially since it would make my husband happy. A couple of days ago, he was complaining about how detailed her visa application was. I told him I was surprised it was so thorough. He told me that it's because while regular visa forms allow a stay of 6 months max, this one allows 2 years. I asked why would she need a stay of more than 6 months. He said that she had been thinking of winding up her medical practice and basically retiring, and this would then allow her to stay for a longer visit if we all decide that it works. I was stunned. I told him he should just do the regular app because his mom won't be staying for anywhere close to 6 months. I had it in my mind that she'd be staying for like a month. That's how long we stayed for when we went there. He said that's his mom. She tells him how alone she feels. She can't go to my BILs because he lives with roommates, and we can't just put a timer on her visit here. He said she's been looking forward to helping us out with our son. I told him we don't need help, we manage fine on our own and with my mom's help. I wanted to host his mom as a guest, not as a part of our household. He complained that how is it fair that my parents could visit whenever they wanted while his can't. I was hurt by that because my parents have helped us out a lot, and I asked him if he wants us to limit how often my mom comes to visit. He said no, that's not what he meant, that he likes her, but it wasn't fair to his parents. My reply was that when my mom comes, she goes at the end of the day. That wouldn't be the case with his. I ended it by saying he should look into the easier regular form because she can't be thinking of staying for that long. He chose to sleep on the couch that night and has been cold with me since. I hate that. We've never been cold to each other like this. I talked to my mom too. She said that having his mom live with us for long stretches would definitely affect me. That this is worth fighting for. I haven't seen him working on the application since. Last night he went out when his mom called. When he came back, I asked him how she took it. He told me he had told her he's looking into what application best suits her. He asked me if I'd changed my mind. I said no. He just shook his head and started watching TV. AITA? AITA has no consensus bot. OOP was NTA. Update number 1, March 11th, 2025, next day. Thank you for the feedback in the original post. Yesterday, when he came back from work, I tried to start the conversation again. He had been giving me the cold shoulder since all this started. I told him I'm his wife of 2 years and the mother of his child. This isn't how we're going to communicate. We started talking after that. I held my ground that his mom staying with us for so long wasn't tenable. If she wanted to visit Canada for longer than a couple of months, she would have to live in her own apartment, learn how to drive, or use public transport. She's used to being driven by a hired driver in Pakistan, and a whole bunch of other changes that she'd need to get used to. That I don't see myself changing my mind on this, so he needs to be honest with her and himself and not go down the we'll keep our options open route. He said that he knows her living with us for an extended stay would require some changes on our part, but he was asking me to do this as a favor to him, that I claim to love him and yet can't do him this favor for his mom. I actually started sobbing when he said this. It was so hurtful that he was using this as a litmus test for our love. I said her being around for years would ruin our parenthood with our first child, that I want us to raise our child the way we see fit, not his mom. Also, all the intimate moments we have, our sex life, everything would suffer. My parents are Pakistani too, I know this will happen. He again asked me to just not shut the door completely, that he'll tell his mom the stay can only be for a month or so, and I can let him know if I think the change wasn't too much. And we landed on a compromise that for now they'll do the regular visa app that only allows a max stay of 6 months. If I changed my mind, he'll do the super visa. He then had a long call with his mom, which his older sister also joined. It actually lasted an hour and a half. He was in the backyard for the call and came back in to grab a chair. It was that long. Also, from what I could see, he was mostly listening for that combo. When he came back in, he told me to just not answer any calls or messages from his mom or sister. Meanwhile, I've received like 4 missed calls and 20 messages from them, mostly Islamic quotes about the rights of parents. I've told them that I can't talk right now since I'm busy with my son right now. I asked him how it went. He said as well as he expected. But he's not giving me the cold shoulder anymore. I do feel guilty because, like I said, I was actually looking forward to host her for a month, and I think this whole thing may have caused irreparable damage not just to my relationship with my ML and SL, but my husband's relationship with his mom and sister. I've told my ML I'll call her back in a couple of hours once my husband's back. I'm dreading that conversation, but I know what my boundaries are. Thank you for the feedback, it helped. Edit. Also, one thing that I had to clarify a few times last post. A lot of people were like, this is what happens when you marry outside your culture. My husband and I are both of Pakistani descent. Just that I was born here, while he immigrated here as a student. But he's been here for like a decade now too. Update number 2, March 12th, 2025, next day. I spoke to my ML. Since her missed calls and text messages were asking me to call her, I figured I should be the one to call, not my husband. But I put my phone on speaker so that my husband, who was lying on the couch, could also hear it. She said that my husband had told her he thought it'd be best if she restricts her trip to 1 month, since it was her first time in Canada, and because we were really busy with my son. She said that ever since my husband had gone to Canada as an 18-year-old, he'd always wanted her to visit for a long duration, and now all of a sudden he was asking her to restrict it when she wanted to help with her grandson, and said she knew I must be the reason why. I said it was a joint decision because of the circumstances, but she wouldn't hear of it. She said if her visiting for more than a month was so outrageous to us, then that's fine, she'll limit her stay, but I should know that in Pakistan in-laws live in the same house with the married couple, like my SL does, and that she had thought I was in touch with my Islamic and Pakistani roots when I was getting married, because that's what my husband had told her, but she was disappointed at how whitewashed I was. At this point, my husband asked me to give him the phone, but not before I told her that I was totally comfortable with how in tune with my heritage I was, and that apparently so was her son. Told her my husband had just come and handed him the phone. My husband went in the yard to talk, but I was so angry I decided to eavesdrop. He was talking to both my ML and FL. He told them that he hadn't fled to Canada in the middle of the night as a student. They both had seen him off at the airport. And that when he had introduced me, hadn't kept the fact that I was born and raised in Canada a secret either. That they can't expect to treat us like a couple in Pakistan. Then he listened a whole lot for like half an hour. I gave him a chair again and kept telling them that it's different now. They ended the call with him saying that we were both really looking forward to her visit, that we'll make sure it's a great 30 or so days with us and her grandson. He apologized to me on behalf of his mom and asked me to please let her lecture go and still be on board with the 1-month plan. I'm looking forward to it much less than I was, but I said fine. Thanks a lot again for the advice. Along with my mother, I was able to get good advice from here too, and I think I've managed to resolve this issue. I know myself, I know my ML staying over for years wasn't something I could deal with, and knowing a lot of people agreed was really helpful. Update number 3, April 3rd, 2025, 3 weeks later. After I had updated here last time, I was fully committed to graciously hosting my ML for 31 days, and not a day more. Since then, we had one unpleasant exchange on AITA a few days ago. I had posted about it on the subreddit regarding MIL issues. This is what I had posted. My ML is going to be visiting near the end of April for a month. For context, we live in Canada. I was born here. My husband immigrated a decade ago. We got married 2 years ago, and our son is 10 months old. My in-laws live in Pakistan. My parents moved to Canada from Pakistan a year before I was born. My ML had initially planned on staying longer, but I had put my foot down and told my husband I couldn't deal with someone living with us for longer than a month, so she's had to cut short her plan and didn't take that wheel. I had actually posted about this somewhere else previously and had been PM'd to take a look at this subreddit. I had made my peace with the 1-month stay and was fully planning on being cordial during it. Yesterday, we had celebrated Eid at my parents' house. It was our first Eid with our son, and we were all so happy about it, getting to dress him in his cute little traditional Kurdish shower. I sent her some pictures of the event because she always asks us to send her pictures. Her reply was not what I expected. She started lamenting how far we were from them and said that this is the problem with marrying someone not from Pakistan, that the parents suffer as a result, how unfair it is that my parents get her son and grandson to themselves. My heart literally shrank reading it. I knew she missed us, but to hear her say she essentially regrets our marriage was so hurtful. I just left her on read. I showed it to my husband. He sincerely apologized and thanked me for not responding to her. I have to host her for a month. How am I supposed to do that now? I would have normally asked my mom for advice on this stuff since she's more well acquainted with dealing with someone from Pakistan, but I actually feel she'll lose it at my ML when she visits if I share this with her. I just wanted some advice and partly wanted to vent. I'm trying to compartmentalize this because we're still celebrating Eid today with some friends, and I don't want this to bring me down. Any advice would be appreciated. Today's update. Today, my husband told me that her visa application had been rejected. They're applying for the notes regarding the decision, but according to him it's futile, that it was always a 50-50 shot, that the most common reason for rejections is having insufficient ties back home, which makes them think the applicant won't go back. That he had thought having my FL remain there would have fixed that, but apparently not. I'm NGL, it's like a huge weight has been lifted off me. I'm trying to act disappointed, but I was dreading her visit. He said she was inconsolable when he spoke to her earlier, that she had asked him to look into us moving to Pakistan. I love Pakistan, but never going to happen. When he shut that down, she gave him his uncle's number who lives in the UAE for job leads so we could move to the UAE. Again, I'm sure it's a great place, but no. So that we could be a 2-hour flight away from them and have our family grow in an Islamic environment. He told her it's going to be difficult, but agreed to talk to him. I was a bit angry about this. I told him there's no way we're moving to the UAE. He said, of course we're not. We've built a life here. He has a great career here, but he didn't want to completely shut down his mom. I personally disagree with that. I think she deserves the truth, but whatever. I'm going to talk to her to commiserate tomorrow. It's too late in Pakistan now. Because again, while I was no longer looking forward to hosting her, I was fully committed to doing so. Unfortunately, this does mean that most of our family vacations will have to be in Pakistan now since they can't visit us here. We already need to go there in December because they're planning to have his brother's wedding done then. Thank you to everyone who gave me advice here. It sucks that we have all this bad blood now for no reason. Like, I'm sure she hates me now, and while I've tried very hard to forget what she said about my upbringing and heritage, I can't, and I see her in a whole new light now. I'm going to be comforting to my husband about this, but maybe it was for the best. Editor's note. Below is the last post we were left off. Update number 4, April 4th, 2025, next day. Our phone call went well for like the first 2 minutes when I expressed how sorry I was that she wouldn't be able to come, and the visa officers should have been more considerate. It went downhill soon after. She said that this probably means she'll never be able to visit Canada, and a few weeks a year isn't enough, that my parents have gotten to be close to us for 2 years. Now it should be their right. And asked if my husband called his uncle about a job in the UAE, since he wasn't answering her texts. I said I don't know, but it won't work anyway. We live in Canada. We've started a family here. We have a support system here. My husband has a great career here. But we will definitely have as many vacations together as possible so she could spend time with my son. She then went on about how my SL, her daughter, has been living with her in-laws since she got married, how bad her MIL is, how lucky I was to have such loving in-laws who just want to be close to us, and I should be more grateful. I told her I'm grateful for my son, my husband, and for everything we have, told her I needed to go, and ended the call before I said anything more to her while she's still down in the dumps about the visa. I texted my husband this immediately before she gets to him. He's probably not going to be happy since he wanted us to let her be comforted by the UAE idea, but IDC anymore. She needs to be told that we're never moving. I'm only going to call her on important occasions now like Eid and to send pictures if my husband asks, but that's it. A sincere thank you to the visa officer who made the decision. Sorry for the repeated updates, NGL, this may have been meant to be a rant too. She's just so rude now all the time. It's so unreasonable. Also, based on a comment that my son may automatically be a Pakistani citizen after all, I called the Pakistani consulate, and when I explained the situation, the lady there said my son is technically a Pakistani citizen. Then I asked about myself because it hit me that my situation when I was born would have been similar to my son's. She said I was a citizen too. I'm going to be looking into how this could affect our visit before we attend my BIL's wedding in December in Pakistan. Thanks again, I won't be posting anymore. This issue is done as far as I'm concerned. Editor's note, the next update is over 1 month old, and it has not been posted onto the sub. New updates. Update number 5, October 16th, 2025, a bit over 6 months later. My husband, our son, and I are due to go to Pakistan in a couple of weeks. I know that alone might make me the AH. I just waited for no reason hoping I'd stop feeling this way, for his brother's wedding. His mother does not like me. Like, she's literally told me that my husband shouldn't have married someone from Canada. My parents are Pakistani. I was born here. He came here when he was a student like a decade ago. My ML had been planning a long 2-year trip here until I had said that it can be a month at max, which caused bad blood. Her visa got rejected anyway, which meant she couldn't come at all. She laments every time we talk, which I now avoid, about how far her son and grandson are from her, and had even been pushing him into getting a job in the Middle East if not Pakistan, which we both obviously shut down as an option. So we're supposed to be going there for 2.5 weeks for the wedding and then a few days after too. As the days are counting down, I'm not feeling good about taking our son with us there and want to leave him with my parents. They live 5 minutes away from us. I know this seems like I don't trust my husband. I absolutely do, but I guess I don't trust the circumstances in Pakistan, especially not when it comes to my son. I know they're all keenly waiting to see him, and they'll be disappointed. As things stand, I will probably decide to tell my husband today that I'm not okay with taking him with us even if the verdict is that I'm an AH, but I just wanted to know if the abruptness and the implication that I don't trust what could happen there would make me somewhat of an AH.